Hi everyone, Mr. Leo over here. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick home building a house tutorial. And the point of this video is this way, if you get stuck or if I move too fast, you can go ahead and just watch the video again, listen to me again. And also, I added this little tool so every time I click on my mouse, either right or left, I have different colors. So the left click, it's red, right click, it's green, and also have this icon appears. Same thing appears when I use keyboard shortcuts. So when I mentioned a keyboard hotkey or shortcut, it's also going to appear right here on the left corner of the screen. So to the house. First thing, let's look right here. You see the name. Tinkercad always gives some really weird names. In this case, it's Dazzling Lippy. So I'm going to change this to Leo's Home Tutorial. So this is the name of this project. So let's get started. Some of these will look familiar. As you can see, I have a cube. Now this is something new. If you press W, you are able to change the work plane. As you can see, the work plane it's right here, nice and blue at the bottom. And every time you drag any objects into the work plane, the object is flat on the work plane. By pressing W, I'm able to move the work plane. As you can see now, I click on top of the cube. So now the work plane is temporarily on top of the cube, and that's why the color is orange. And this is why this is so helpful. It means that when I drag the roof, it is perfectly on top of the house instead of being down here on the work plane. This is just an easier way to manipulate objects so that way I don't need to change on the z-axis or the heights like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and Control Z to undo that. As you can see, let me focus. The roof and the cube it's not line up. So here's the other very useful tool. Once you select both objects, that means I'm left clicking and dragging my mouse over both objects so both are selected. I'm gonna go ahead and press the letter L. Once I press L, you have these nodes. In this case, I want it to be lined up in the middle so they match. Once those nodes are gray, as you can see, that means it's perfectly aligned. If they're black, that means you could align, but of course I do not want to align on the Z. This is a quick preview. It's not what I want. I just want them to align on the X and Y axis. So there you go. Now that it's aligned, actually let me first change the colors. I want my roof to be dark brown and my walls. Um, let's pick a fun color. Let's see yellow. Not a big fan of yellow right now. Maybe we'll pick a lighter color. Maybe white. Yeah, let's do a white house. Kind of do like a cream color, light gray. Once I have the color, I'm gonna go ahead and group. You can click up here. I personally always like using keyboard shortcuts. So I'm gonna press Ctrl G and voila, it's grouped. I'm gonna go ahead and click on multicolor because I want to keep the different colors. Gonna stretch that out a little bit on the y-axis. As I did yesterday, I'm gonna duplicate. That's Control D, as you see right here. Now I have two houses, and I'm gonna rotate one of them 90 degrees. And I'm gonna pull it back this way. There we go. Actually, this looks good. I'm gonna do a little different than how I did in class. So let me actually now select the whole house and I'm rotating the whole house. I want this to be the front. I'll make a little garage or just windows over here. So it's a little different. This is gonna be the front of my house. I like the way this looks. And again, you can do your house however you want it. You can copy exactly as I do it, or if you prefer, you can make design your own. Actually, I challenge you to go ahead and make your own, make it unique to yourself. You're gonna make mistakes, but that's how you learn. So now that I have a house here, um, I'm gonna make a bigger door over here. I'm gonna build a little patio. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. I'm gonna hold shift so I can scale down this cube proportionally. And there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and group this together. There we go. So this is gonna be a big door, and I'm gonna go ahead and build a little patio here. So let me first change the size. And as you can see, I'm just typing the dimensions I want. I want this to be fairly small. Let's focus on it. Oh, could be a little taller, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on the white handle on top to make it a little taller. Yep, that works. Now let's duplicate that. I'm gonna rotate. Perfect. I'm gonna make this one a little bit thicker, this beam. Put it here coming out of the house. Here's another awesome keyboard shortcut. Control, when I hold Control and press the up key arrows, I'm able to move with the keyboard the piece. I'm gonna change the color from red. Let's do lighter brown. Yeah, there we go. Now that I have this one, I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate and use the keyboard arrows to shift it over. After I do that, I can just duplicate a few more to make sure until let's do one more. Voila. Now I'm just gonna click on this beam. I'm gonna duplicate. Just gonna use again the keyboard arrows to shift the piece over. And I think I should have, for structure wise, another piece right here. So let me duplicate this again, but this time I'm gonna rotate 90 degrees. Let's raise it up and move it over. How does that look? I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like the little canopy. Perfect. So now that this is done, I'm just gonna go ahead and group that as well so I don't mess it up. Perfect. Let's move to the front. Let's make a little door here. Changing the size, that's good. Is that too tall? Nah, this is a good size door. I like it. I'm gonna change the dark color to my favorite color, which is gonna be a dark green door. There we go. The only thing I need right here is a little handle. So let's make a little handle for the door, a little knob. First things, let's get a cylinder. I'm gonna scale that down by holding shift and left click. Gonna make this a little bit longer. Let's get a sphere. We'll keep this simple. Same thing, hold shift to scale it down. Let's focus on it because this is small. This is another method. You can click on the cone to move it up. Not my favorite, but I want to make sure I use it as well. So there's different ways to do it. Then I'm going to use the arrow keys to go ahead and just put that on top. I'm going to go ahead and group it, and actually I'm going to change the color to be a gold color. Let me rotate this 90 degrees, and just like that I have a handle. But as you can see, the problem is the center is really big still. So I'm gonna hold shifts and make the whole thing smaller. Ah, that looks like a better size, don't you think? Yeah, let's move the handle a little bit. There you go. That seems like a good place for it. Oh, let's see, it's not overlapping. So, oh, that's too much. So you see, when I nudge, it moves too much. So I need to change my snap grid from 1 millimeter. Let's try 0.1. That's as small as it goes, meaning the nudges are a lot small and I can be more precise. And I'm gonna move a little bit to this side as well. So as you can see, I'm always moving the camera around, changing the view to make sure things look good. I'm actually happy with that. Before I group everything, I'm gonna go ahead and make a little window here as well. And like this, instead of carving in, I'm gonna make it stick out a little. And I'm gonna make this, let's do 0.5, very thin and small, and that's okay. I'll make 1 inch. Yeah, that's looking good. There we go. I'm gonna change this to brown, dark brown, actually matching the roof a little. I like that. So I'm gonna make a window over here. So here's one. Now that I have one, I'm just gonna duplicate it, move it around so I can make it my window. There we go, evenly spaced. Duplicate again, rotate 90 degrees. Move up, again I'm doing holding control and up arrow to shift this upwards. Oh, that looks good. So I am happy with that. So now that I have this, I'm gonna control D again, duplicate, I'm gonna put one in the middle. Let's put another one down in the bottom. Haha, that looks good. There I go, now perfectly even spaced out for my window. And you know what? I'm gonna do a little pointer here as well. I think it will look good. This is called a wedge that I pull it out. It's awesome shape. All I gotta do is rotate it a little bit. So in this case, I'm gonna rotate this way and this way 90 degrees actually. And let's flip it upside down. It's not the way I want it. There we go. This is the way I want it. Of course, it's way too big, so hold shift. Let's shrink it down. I'm gonna move over here close to the window. F for focus, zoom in. Okay, control, upper arrow to move up. Now as you can see, this is not as wide as the window, so I'm gonna change the width or the x-axis. Yeah, I like that. I think it's sticking out too much. I'm gonna bring it in a little. Of course, I'm gonna change to match the color of the window. There we go. That looks good. Okay, let's select everything by left clicking and dragging the mouse. Once it's done, Control G to group it. And there we go. Oh, this house is looking good. Alright, now here in the backyard, let's be a little creative. Maybe we can make a pool. I'm gonna make a floor here. Actually, let's change the height to 1 millimeter high. There we go. Let's pull this out. Over here, I'll design a pool. This is kind of gonna be a concrete back, so I'm gonna change to a darker gray. Instead of a pool, I'm just gonna make a hot tub. That will be faster and easier. So let's start with, I think that's too big, so I'm gonna make this hot tub 15 millimeters by 15 millimeters. One thing about this cube, do you see how it's sharp? Over here on the object menu, we have radius. I'm gonna make the radius a little bit bigger. Actually, I'm gonna click here and type 3.5. And as you can see now, the corners are round, which actually it's perfectly what I want because I want this to be a hot tub. Let's change the color. No, don't like the color. You know what? This forest green here, this will do for now. I'm gonna duplicate, make another one, but I'm gonna make a hole. I'm gonna shrink a little, bring it up. So as you can see, it's perfectly in the middle, and I'm gonna select both by holding shifts. When I hold shift, I can click on multiple objects and only select those that I click on it. And I'm actually gonna group them, and it's gonna carve in, subtract the whole out of the, there we go. Perfect. Actually, I'm gonna undo this because I forgot to do something. So I'm gonna undo. The whole shape I'm actually gonna duplicate. I'm gonna move out here. This is the exactly same size shape, but I'm gonna move an extra one on the side, and you're gonna know in just a moment what I'm gonna do with it. So I'm gonna select, holding shift, the whole and the solid objects, Control G to group them. Now with this piece that was whole, I'm actually gonna change the color to a light blue because this is gonna be the water, and I'm gonna make it, there we go. Let's use the top view, make sure it's aligned. Yeah, it's not aligned. I'm gonna nudge it a little, there you go. Perfect, now it's aligned. Let's raise this water level closer to the top. I like it. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and group that. And now I have a little hot tub in the backyard. I like it. Let's add some grass as well. Gonna make this 0.8 tall. Just drag it out. I'm gonna make it big. This is a nice grass area for the dogs to play. I'm gonna change this to green. I think the last thing I'm missing is just a quick fences. Yeah, let's make some fences. And for focus, I'm gonna change this to 1 by 1. Too tall for a fence. Gonna bring it down. This one I'll make it a little different than how I did in class. Instead of round on top, I'm gonna use a pyramid, which is kind of like a spike. Let's hold shift. Oops, too small. Actually, so this is gonna be the same dimension, which is 1 by 1. Now all I gotta do is actually move this to be on top. And for focus, so see, I'm kind of close, but I'm gonna use the keyboard arrows to nudge it and get it where it's supposed to be. Perfect. Now that it's good. Uh-oh. I think I select the whole house by accident. Let me undo. Okay, I only want to select those two. So now I'm gonna group that spike, and I'm gonna change the color to a brown color. You see when this still has these red outlines, that means it's grouping. Tinkercad again sometimes can be slow. Should have loaded by now. If this happens, we're gonna go ahead and click right here, refresh, and this will reload the page and fix any bugs. See, there we go. Now it's brown. Okay. So I have one part. I'm gonna duplicate that. Gonna move it to the side. There we go. I'll make a fence. We'll start with 4. Ooh. I'm gonna ungroup this one because actually I wanna just this part. I'm gonna duplicate the red one. I'm gonna rotate, and I'm gonna make this fence connect. There we go. Control down arrow to move down. I'm actually gonna duplicate. Control D and move another one up. Let's change the color to brown so it matches. So I'm selecting the pieces, clicking on brown, and I'm gonna select just the fence, make sure I'm not selecting anything else, and I'm gonna group. So I have a fence that's done. All I gotta do now is attach this throughout around my house, and the best way is to duplicate it. So Control D, made another one, rotate 90 degrees, and bang, just like that. Gonna duplicate again and bring it over. So all I gotta do is keep duplicating it. I'm gonna select the first one, duplicate again, move it over. Hold shift as I select the other fence, duplicate again, so as you can see I'm just keeping duplicating until I find what I want. Duplicate 90 degrees, move over, align with this fence, and as you can see I keep changing the angle view, the camera view, and that helps me make sure that what I'm doing matches and it looks good. There we go. So let's duplicate that. Get one more time. Rotate 90 degrees. Move over. Once I have once, all I gotta do is select, duplicate. I'm gonna use the keyboard arrows to place and then just keep duplicating. And as you can see, it keeps moving over. So I just keep doing Control D until it's where I want, which this is perfect. Once I get to the corner, I'm just gonna duplicate again, rotate 90 degrees, place it where I want it, and I can duplicate again. Um, hmm, there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and group the whole thing. And just like that, look, not too shabby. Maybe I can put a chimney, maybe some trees here in the front. But as you can see, I have a nice big backyard, a hot tub, a canopy, door, window. Right now, I'm pretty happy with this house. Feel free to keep building more stuff and make it fancier and prettier. But this is just a quick tutorial on how to design your own house.